Hello, everybody, and welcome to an emergency video for the Ohio State Voice of College Football Show channel. I'm Ryan Stano.
I'm Garrison Gaddy.
Well, Garrison, obviously, the purpose for making this video is Ohio State has a brand new offensive coordinator,
Mhm.
and it's a familiar face. So, Ohio State went ahead and decided to promote Brian Hartline to be the offensive coordinator. Now, he'd already technically held the title of co-offensive coordinator, but now he is the big honcho. He will be calling plays, and he's the man leading the show on the offense. So, first reaction, Garrison, what do you think of the hire?
Yeah. Oh well, I'm happy, man. Like I said to you on the phone. I just posted the other video about Tyler Bowen. I was very excited about that hire, and then as soon as I got off the phone and uploaded the video, and I'm thinking, okay, that's probably it for the day. Boom, there goes the news, and I'm very excited. I think this is well deserved. Last year he had the co-C position, and I think we all kind of knew by mid-season Ryan Day was making the play calls. Or at least some people thought. I tend to disagree with that a little bit. But then last past season he goes back to just wide receiver coach and pass game coordinator, and you have Chip Kelly there. I think that's just another brain that he's able to pick. And now you lose Chip Kelly, and you go into this season, you need a new OC, and why not get the guy who's been the top recruiter in the nation for the last few years? Why, at least at his position? Why not get the guy who's he's sat behind, he's waited his turn, young guy, and I think it's the time to do it.
Yeah, I know we talked about this on our show on Monday. If you weren't going to promote him to start calling plays soon, you're at risk of having him leave. He's someone who is ambitious. He's had some head coaching interviews before. And in order to get one of those positions, he's going to have to call plays. And if you want to keep him here at Ohio State and keep him happy, you are eventually going to have to make this move. Now, once that Tyler Bowen hire was made, that kind of signaled to me that this was probably what they were going to end up doing. You don't really hire the offensive line coach before you know who you're going to have as the offensive coordinator. So, this is probably a move where Ohio State knew they were going to give Hartline the job. Hartline signed off on Bowen as well, and that's the marriage that they wanted to make. So, I do get a little bit nervous for him being a first-time play caller. With just having that at Ohio State, that obviously didn't work out too well with Kerry Combs, as we've mentioned before. But he is the best recruiter in the country. He's the best wide receivers coach in the country. So the wide receivers are still going to be great. Mm-hmm. He is someone that will work hard to make sure that, whatever mistakes are made, because there will be mistakes. He's a first-time player caller. There's going to be mistakes. But whatever mistakes those are made, he's going to work hard to make sure those are corrected. And, this move, it just seems like it seemed, like you mentioned, it seemed inevitable, at this point. There weren't a whole lot of rumbles of any outside, hires that they were seriously looking at. So this was always kind of the route that it looks like they were going to go down, and that's the route they have gone down. And I know they also, just real quick, I know they also decided to make Billy Fessler their quarterbacks coach as well. And he was someone who's on this national championship team. He worked with Will Howard, so another internal promotion there. And it's someone who has worked with the quarterbacks before, so that should be a seamless transition for Hartline too.
Yeah, man. And I mean, to the point of him, being a little bit nervous with him calling plays. Like I had posted after, I think what's probably going to happen is, usually for coaching, it is a collaborative effort. But sometimes, you like Ryan Day, when he was calling plays, it's solely him calling plays. I think when you bring in a guy like Tyler Bowen, who has play calling experience, whether it be at Virginia Tech as a offensive coordinator, and also at Penn State, where he was that also, I think it kind of helps. You're going to get some of his input. I think Ryan Day is still going to make sure he has his, as I'm sure he did last year and every other year before that. And but I do believe Ryan Day is going to give something that Hartline didn't have 2 years ago. He's going to have the veto power. He's going to have the say so. I think he's going to have make the last call. I think he's going to get all those things that are going to help him develop as offensive coordinator, and possibly see what happens in the future for him. I think that it's smart to do that win, especially for early in the season. First game of the year, man, you got Texas. So I think that it was imperative that we made this decision now. We did it quick, just like you when we made the OC hire. I'm sorry, the offensive line hire with Bowen. I also thought looks like they're probably. I think they already have it. And then if you saw the other day, Brian Hartline already put it on his Twitter.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to react to it. I didn't really say anything about it, but I saw it. I said, "Oh, it must already be done." I was thinking he probably had it changed in 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's exciting, and I think it's something new for the team. And maybe you might know. So is Hartline going to stay with the wide receivers? I would imagine he probably wouldn't. He probably won't be able to.
I would assume as of right now he's going to try, but I mean that's probably a hire they do need to make down the line. I mean the wide receivers will probably primarily still work with Hartline. I mean he's just so good at that. It's kind of hard not to have him. It's kind of not hard to want him to still be super involved with that group.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there probably will need to be a hire where at least there's someone who can help take some of that load off his plate. You know, they can help him out, and that way he can focus strictly on being the big honcho on offense, making sure the play calls are right, scheming guys up, and getting guys in the proper place in order to have success. And it does worry me having Texas as first up with Hartline. Also with a brand new quarterback. But, you also look at the roster and you look at the amount of turnover that Ohio State has, and you look at the fact that they just won a national championship. This makes sense as far as the timeline to promote someone like this because you're just off a national championship. You're not going to get a ton of flack from the fans if things don't go super well early. You've got that equity built up, and you still, you're also missing, your two best running backs are gone. National championship winning quarterback's gone. You got your two best offensive linemen gone. So, one of your best receivers is gone. So you've got some built-in excuses if the offense doesn't go well. But at the same time, you've got some super talented guys still there. I mean, obviously, you got Jeremiah. It's not going to be hard to scheme him open. He's just a one-man show.
Maybe he should be the coach.
Yeah, exactly. Max Clark comes in. He's going to get a lot of targets. They still got Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis. So there's going to be some talent out there. So, if they were going to make an internal hire for offensive coordinator, this was probably the right time to do it.
Yeah, and I want to get your thoughts also. What are your thoughts on the Tyler Bowen hire?
It somewhat worries me that he hasn't coached exclusively with the offensive line since 2017. Now I know he did some offensive line work with Virginia Tech as well, like he was helping out there, but it wasn't his full-time duty to coach the offensive line. But, once this hire was made and it did signal that Hartline was going to be the OC, this move started to make more sense because, like you mentioned, he does have play calling experience, so he can help Hartline figure out, certain scenarios, what to do. I think they'll kind of work hand in hand. He's also a young guy. He's been in a lot of different places for only being 35. I found that surprising. So
I saw he was at Fordham, sometime at Maryland as a GA. Yeah.
Yep. Penn State worked with the Jaguars. Like he worked under Urban with the Jaguars. That's probably part of the recommendation going into Ryan Day for that. So,
yeah, I think so.
I do know people at Virginia Tech speak very, very highly of him. I saw someone say that someone within the Virginia Tech coaching staff said they thought he was the smartest football guy in the building. So that bodes well. We'll see what happens. They've got 3 solid offensive line starters right now and 2 probably who will be starters coming in from the transfer portal. So it'll all tie in together, and it'll tie in with how Hartline wants to scheme up plays.
Yeah, and when we hired him, I looked at his history. I said, "Oh, I don't think this is much of an offensive line hire. I think this is like a next top guy. A guy's gonna be looking for a coordinator position soon, and then looking to be a head coach. It looks like he's a very like you said, he's gone. He's been in a lot of places. He's been a co-C for 5 years of his career so far, and at Virginia Tech and Penn State. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I have posted this right after, and I want to get your thoughts on this right here. I have posted kind of in jest, but halfway serious. Is he setting it up right now?
No. No. I'll just say that. I will say that if he decides to if he wants to head to the NFL, like, he can definitely do it within the next couple of years. I mean, he's got his national championship.
This is me assuming he gets another one. This is me assuming he gets like the next
yes,
years.
He would have to do that, and he would have to start beating Michigan as well. But no, I think 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I think that's the proper timeline. I mean, he's still a young guy for coaching purposes. In terms of the coaching tree, he's pretty young. So, if he does eventually go to the NFL, he's if you're going to have someone succeed him like a Hartline, this would be the way to do it. That's a long time in the future. That's not something I really am too concerned about at the moment. We're really just focused on 2025 and seeing if Hartline is going to be good enough to go ahead and lead the offense moving forward.
For sure. Oh, man, really cool. I'm happy for the guy. Was a really good receiver out of Ohio State. Has some great highlights.
Yep. And certainly happy for him. Long time coming from that unfortunate ATV accident he had a couple years ago while he was having a bit too much fun. So good to see him able to buckle down and get this done. So, that's pretty much it. So make sure you guys join us tomorrow for the call-in show. We'll be there at 8 o'clock. So looking forward to talking about this more, as well as, the fact that the defensive coordinator position came open first, and we're still waiting on a DC hire. So I find that, we'll find that interesting. We'll talk about that some more. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. OH.
IO.